Are we ready, friends?
Oh,
Wait,
are we doing a countdown?
Yeah, I'll do it. All right. 3, 2, 1. It's showtime. Oh my god, I love it! Look at us, we're
Hello,
adorable.
plebeians.
Ah, you did go with the...
Did go with it.
I love it. Oh, and the glass of wine. See, all I have is this. Truly. I couldn't think of an appropriate beverage.
Yeah,
That fits.
I did grab my last podcast glass because it is,
Hell yes. We do love to see it. Oh, this is so exciting. Oh, I love Halloween. I think I've said that every single episode for the past, 3 weeks.
perhaps possible.
Very possible indeed. So do we have any fun things we'd like to say about Halloween or about anything?
Entirely coincidentally, I have this Waldo Funko Pop on my desk.
Oh, I ordered a new Funko Pop and it arrived today. Let me grab it for you.
Technically, this is a Wenda costume, so this is I don't know what the relationship between Waldo and Wenda is supposed to be. Are they dating? Are they siblings?
I don't know.
Ah, I couldn't read the package at first.
I couldn't either, but I like it.
It's Luke Spiller. It's the guy from the Struts.
See, here's the thing.
That existed, and I had to have it for myself. Ooh, there he goes.
He's so top heavy, I don't know how he stands.
What's the thing? Do tell.
No, Luke Spiller might be cool. He might be a badass. But has he ever crossed the Rubicon without even asking the Senate's permission? No, he has not.
I think not. Oh, look at you with the snacks!
Literally stopped the Target. I was like, hang on, I got some second wind solution.
I love that so much. I love to see the effort. Reminds me of being at Comic-Con. Anyway, do we want to hop right in, or do we have any other fun thoughts that we would like to share before we begin?
Nope. Forgot to put on my Halloween socks. I was going to. I have socks that say trick or treat, smell my feet.
I love it! I'm just wearing... Yeah, actually, I don't have any fun Halloween socks on right now, even though I do have them. Oh, well. Thus is life. So I guess we'll start with a question provided by Dr. Brooks here. Would you like to read would you like to share with the class?
Oh, that was mine? The first one?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
Doing great.
I don't know. I feel like this one isn't going to be very controversial, but the question being whether clowns are considered funny or scary.
I really think it depends. I don't get the whole thing where people are like, clowns are scary under any circumstance.
They creep me out, man. Doesn't matter.
I think clowns are scary, but in the way that Jaws is scary. Where yeah, kind of, but also they're just funny. I don't know. I don't have a particularly... I get the fear, right? Because you can't tell.
I get it. I've read it.
It's not even that. Even before I was aware of it as a book in the film and everything, there's something to me about an adult who enjoys just caking on makeup and wearing ridiculously large shoes and ridiculous outfits and hanging out with children.
Okay, yeah, well, when you put it like that.
Yeah.
It feels weird to me.
And I mean, I guess the whole John Wayne Gacy thing really has kind of soured the notion of the clown as a child's entertainer.
Yes. Pogo the clown. That is my concept of a clown.
Yeah, oh my god, do you remember when SUNY Geneseo went into clown lockdown?
Oh, oh my god, I forgot that used to be a thing.
The clown sightings where they would just have knives and stuff.
I mean, I remember that being a thing. I remember it being a thing at Geneseo.
Oh yeah, no, it was well after like actual like class time for the day. It was like sometime in like I think it was almost like 11 o'clock at night. But I was a freshman, and this email went out. It was like, yeah, there's a clown with a knife over on South Side. Don't go outside.
Huh, maybe they didn't email the faculty.
Yeah, I don't see why they would. So that happened, but I don't understand why we didn't just do what they did at like I want to say it was UPenn or something where they spotted
Like
a knife clown on campus, and all of the students like armed themselves and ran him off the premises. Why didn't we do that?
That would be very Night Stalker-esque.
Like just baseball bats.
Got caught.
Oh yeah.
Attacked by a mob. Love that story.
Indeed. But yeah, I don't know why that didn't happen. I think that would have been a much more fun conclusion to the story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I personally don't get the clowns are scary under any circumstance, but a lot of the times they most certainly can be. Like again, Stephen King's It. Sometimes they're holding knives. I don't care for that.
And I don't care for that shit at all.
And I don't care.
But okay. but wouldn't anything be scary if it was holding a knife?
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm scary when I'm holding a knife.
Well, no, but like it depends on how. Like I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of things they are going to move into the scary territory if they are wielding a knife at me.
Can I just say this?
Yes.
I am personally terrified of knives.
Do tell. Like, is there just any... Oh, yeah. Better watch out.
I'm barely just going to try to shoehorn in as many serial killer references as I can. But wasn't
Good.
that why...
Put that last podcast knowledge to use.
Was it Gacy that killed his first victim because he was just holding a knife and he thought that he was going to kill him, but he was just making him breakfast? I think that was Gacy.
Maybe? I can't remember when I listened to those episodes.
I'm pretty sure that was Gacy. And that was
I think you're right, because I remember I was listening to that series in the lock house with my coworker, and it did the, like, you know, thought I was going to make him breakfast or whatever, and I did the, and then he ran into my knife. He ran into my knife 10 times from Cell Block Tango.
But a situation like that, he's just like, you know, a nice young fella making him breakfast, and he happened to be holding a knife, and he's like, well, I better kill this dude. And then everybody felt...
If your solution is immediately murder, big yikes. Big yikes on that front. And I mean, it's John Wayne Gacy we're talking about here, but, you know.
It was his first murder, though, too. That was how he found out he liked it.
Ooh, gross.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I won't elaborate on what made him realize he enjoyed it. Just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
moving right along.
He's the clown. He's the killer clown. So
this is very appropriate.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I would use the word scary for clowns. I guess more creepy. Like, in literally any context, I find them creepy.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I don't find them creepy in every context, but they most certainly can be.
I think the things that go against, I don't know, what you come to expect is unnerving. Like, if you had, like, a bowl of popcorn but smelled like meat, like...
That's a Magnus Archives episode!
Is it really?
No, it has the energy of a Magnus Archives episode.
But, like, there's nothing inherently toxic, like, to you about popcorn, and there's nothing inherently toxic to you about meat, but you put them together, and, like...
Yeah, no, I do get that.
So, like, yeah... when you put together things that, like, you might be okay with them on their own, but combined.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I think it's kind of like that sort of uncanny valley thing, where it's like they don't look quite human, but they're close enough that it's, like, weird for a lot of people. I mean, I get it. Also, side note, I really wish I had gotten setting like powder for this makeup instead of setting spray because I look so shiny. But it's fine. Anyway.
I mean, that uncanny valley thing is the same reason why I really, for the most part, don't like puppets.
Interesting. I had a friend who had a real issue with animatronics.
Some puppets are okay, but occasionally I just find them very unsettling.
I'm not a big talking animal person.
I think the more realistic a puppet looks, or like the more realistic it's trying to look, the creepier it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Jim Henson stuff, I'm very much cool with that. Even the ones that are supposed to be like people, because they're very they're very cartoony sort of people.
Well, I don't know that necessarily holds because I used to work for this talent agency in Chicago, and they did like mostly like bands and comedians and stuff for college, but they would also represent kind of like entertainment that people would hire on a local basis, so like for parties and stuff.
Yeah.
And we had these clients that were called Those Funny Little People. And essentially what it is they're people, they dress like basically normal from the neck down, just kind of cutesy costumes, but then they have these giant heads.
Interesting.
And to me, they're the stuff of nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why anybody pays for them to go to events. My colleagues used to mess with me by cutting up pictures of them out of like the flyers and stuff and putting them into my bag so that I would discover them when I went to like grab my lunch or something.
That's kind of fantastic. I'm not gonna lie.
They're awful. I hate them. Yeah, and so those aren't very realistic.
So don't watch that movie Frank with Michael Fassbender.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but I know what you mean.
Because he's a guy with a giant paper mache head.
Yeah.
So here's like a blast from the past. What about Harry Potter Puppet Pals? And the ticking time bomb.
Good stuff.
Or no, the mysterious ticking
noise.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my god.
Age.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was made by someone who was like in his late 20s at the time.
Okay.
And this was like a decade ago, at least.
But like probably for kids, and I was not a kid at the time.
Oh no, it was definitely more than a decade ago. I remember watching it when I was in like third or fourth grade, and I have no idea how long it had been now prior to that.
We're gonna have to take a fun little trip down YouTube memory lane. The thing that's weird to me about you not knowing that is that I was watching that at the same time I was also watching like Charlie the Unicorn.
I was in college.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been watching Harry Poppins in college.
It's I mean, definitely wasn't aimed at like children exclusively. I'll tell you that.
I never heard of it. Definitely was not being watched in college. Everybody was watching Grey's Anatomy then. And
That's
still
fair.
not, but
Yeah. I have never watched
really.
a single episode of Grey's Anatomy in my life, and I don't plan on it.
But that was what the people were watching.
We have a second question provided by you.
Yeah.
You're kind of killing it. Tell the people.
So I feel like this is a very controversial question. I feel like people.
This
tend to
comes
have
up
a very
every single year.
Yeah, but there was a specific reason why I was thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Candy corn, good or bad?
Good when you first bite into it, and then bad by the time you're done with it.
Interesting.
You know what I miss was like the pumpkins.
I don't like the pumpkins.
Oh, I love. I can't eat them anymore, but I love them like a favorite part.
Yeah, no,
I
like
honestly-
the top white section of like your average triangular candy corn, like I always bite it off in like the color sections because like duh. That I enjoy, but then as soon as I like bite off the second section, I'm like, why am I eating this?
Or you could just put the whole thing in your mouth because it's tiny.
Yeah.
It's not the same though.
It all tastes the same. It's just food coloring.
Yeah, but like it's different in my mind, and therefore it matters.
The whole thing. I didn't even know this until recently when I was like, I don't know the answer to this, so I looked it up. It's supposed to be vanilla marshmallow flavor.
Really?
I thought it was
Yeah.
just vague sugar flavor.
See, that's what I thought, but no. And then once I read vanilla marshmallow, I was like, oh yeah, I guess it does taste like that, you know? But
Now I might actually have to eat some candy corn to like fact check that for myself.
yeah, I haven't had regular candy corn in I don't know how long. But I feel like people always say that it's like waxy or whatever.
It is a little,
Yeah.
like just consistency wise.
The entire reason I have it right here, I put it in the drawer so I didn't forget it. I got this s'mores candy corn.
Interesting. Does it
Um,
pass the s'mores flavor test for you?
I love it so much.
Okay,
I got it
good.
from I got it from a small candy shop in Canandaigua.
We love to see it.
And it is delicious and it is not waxy. And that was
Interesting.
yeah, that was the first thing I said when ate one of them. I was like, oh, so candy corn doesn't have to be
So
waxy.
maybe it's just the mass-produced candy corn.
Yeah, but it's actually like really good and really addictive. I've had it for 2.5 weeks, so I don't know how I still have that much left. But
That's impressive, seeing as you
That is
just
very.
described it as addictive.
We
yeah, well, I try to live.
like.
Yeah, that's extremely, extremely impressive.
Yeah, well, part of me, and there's not really a good reason for this, but part of me was intentionally trying to make it last so I would have a visual aid for today. Although it
Okay,
doesn't
you know
really,
what? I admire your commitment.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really
I kept,
do.
I kept thinking, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be able to do it. But I
But
did.
she did.
Now we can support the local business, Sweet Expressions Candy Shop in Canandaigua, New York.
If you're around, check them out. Some free
Delightful stuff over
advertising
there.
for local businesses, baby.
Yeah, they're wonderful there.
We love to see it.
Yeah, but
Is that the place we went in when we were in Canandaigua getting piercings together?
I maybe I can't remember if we actually went in or not because it is right down the street from the piercing shop.
We definitely did go into a sort of bakery candy shop type deal.
We went in and out of a few places. Well, we went to that one bakery where we got
Yes.
the chai lattes, but this is on the other side of the street.
So perhaps not. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Again, I start eating candy corn and I'm like, yeah. And then by the time I'm done, I'm like, why did I do this? What was the point?
I feel about candy corn like the exact same way I feel about jelly beans at Easter, where it's like I want like 5 of them.
And that's it.
Oh, good for the year. Yeah. Like, sometimes my parents will get, just assorted jelly beans, and I'll get one of each flavor. And like, okay, that's all I wanted.
Hot take, the black licorice jelly beans, disgusting.
Oh
We
wait.
finally agree. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
And the Venn diagram becomes a circle once more.
I don't dislike many things, but anise is one of those,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, not nuts about
like,
it.
I'll eat it. I don't like it. There's nothing I won't eat. I just won't be happy about it necessarily.
I think I'm like both impressed and terrified that you have no hard no, I will not put that in my mouth foods.
Can't think of any.
That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a rule where I've decided to at least try not to branch into any new meats. Like, I know I'll never be a vegetarian, but at least I cannot, like, try a meat I've never had before and start eating different animals. I
Oh,
know,
I've
it's a
done
weird
that.
rule, but no.
Yeah, it's already too late for me. I've done that.
Well, I mean, like, if I've already eaten it, I'll keep eating it, but, there's, it doesn't exist anymore, but there used to be a Belgian burger bar,
Very cool.
called Victoire. And every Wednesday, I believe it was, they had wild game night where they would have a meat of a different animal.
Okay, that's like
It was nice.
kind of cool though.
Yeah,
Like
it's not that fun.
conceptually.
Yeah, it
It's
got replaced by a German beer garden.
Fun. Yeah, no, we had a very growing up in my house, we only ever cooked like beef, chicken, pork. Like that was pretty much it. So then when I was studying abroad and they were like, here's like there's like There's this dish called plov, and it's like rice, vegetables, meat, good stuff. But they had it with, I think it was like veal or lamb or something. And I tried it. I was like, this is so good. So.
See, that's why I don't want to do that. I don't want it to be good, and then I now branched off into eating another animal. I wish I didn't eat animals, but at least I can limit the animals that I eat.
I try not to feel too bad
You know
about
what's
it. I don't know if that makes me a bad person.
funny though, because like in theory, you could make the argument that eating whatever the meat is on wild game night would be more ethical because odds are that was just like hunted as compared to
Yeah, it
factory
wasn't like
farm.
factory farmed.
Yeah. So like you could like I have no idea how they came about it, but
Yeah.
if
It's a
you want,
possibility.
you could justify it to yourself, yeah, in terms of harm reduction.
I mean, I can't remember what the kind of thing. They definitely had bison the one night I was there, and they've had like gator meat and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of it probably is farmed.
as
I just
much as
don't
I
know what.
do have like hard no like tomatoes, one of my hard no's, we've established this multiple times here on the podcast, but like I will try anything twice as long as it's not hard drugs.
Fair.
So,
My policy, I just keep eating a thing until I learn to tolerate it, and then I learn to like it. Like I said, I don't like anise really, but if it's people are like, hey, I got this black licorice, you want some? I'm like, yeah, sure, I love candy. I don't like that particular kind, but maybe I'll learn.
fair enough. Okay.
No tolerance.
So now here's a fun topic, which I'm really excited about because at the time we're recording this, tomorrow begins my 2-week break between normal boat navigation season and maintenance season at the canal. So I'm planning on watching every single Halloween movie in existence. Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Halloween movies. And we're going to start with a particular subset, my favorite, horror movies. How do we feel about them? I love
So,
them.
Is The Purge a horror movie? Is that series
I
considered
would
horror
say it
movie?
has horror elements.
Okay.
consider it to be horror. I mean, kind of the point is to scare people.
Yeah.
That's the basic definition of horror.
You do make a good point.
I don't know. I was just thinking about that recently. I wasn't sure what genre it would fall under.
To me, it's like any other genre that, like, it depends on if it's done well, you know?
Yeah.
Like, any genre can have good examples and bad examples. If it's actually, like, creative or interesting or different,
Mm-hmm.
sure. But if it's just your standard, let's just chase people around with an axe or a chainsaw or a knife, it's kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I definitely want it to be, like, creative. Like, not that I have never enjoyed a more, I guess, commercial as opposed to, like, real, like, art house cinema, like, horror movie. So, like, something you would see in, like, any old movie theater. Like, I enjoyed both of the Insidious movies. They weren't necessarily the most groundbreaking things in the world, but the atmosphere was good, had some good scares, story was entertaining enough. I had a fun time. So, like, I also guess with horror, I'm also, like, as a huge horror fan, like, I'm willing to, I think because it's a genre that gets overlooked a lot, or, like, kind of treated as, like, I don't know, not taken as seriously as, like, just a straight up, like, drama. I'm willing to put up with a little bit more, like, some more flaws in the average horror film than I am with, like, something that's, like, super kind of well established and well respected as a genre, say, like, historical fiction or whatever.
Kind of like suggesting that you're not taking horror very seriously. If you're like, just like, it's not a big deal, flaws.
I mean, I do think it's a big deal, and it really pisses me off that, like, particularly with, like, the Academy Awards, like, the genre bias, like, horror films almost never get recognized, and, like, if anyone who's seen Hereditary, I've seen this opinion a lot in discussions of that movie, like, I think Toni Collette should have won Best Actress for what she did in that movie, because it was absolutely incredible. So, like, that's the thing that pisses me off, but also knowing that that horror as a genre hasn't been taken seriously by like the establishment for as long as some other genres, like, you know, how they kind of split things into like musical versus comedy versus tragedy, like the big really wide categories. I will be a little bit more forgiving. I don't know, and again, just because I like it, and I feel like the ratio of like, you know, number of horror movies that come out per year versus the number of just plain old dramas that come out per year, the pickings are much slimmer in that sense. So every now and again, I do have to lower my standards.
Well, it's a genre, it isn't as broadly appealing. Like, pretty much everybody will watch a drama, but horror
This
isn't
is
for
also
everybody.
very true. And like I get it. I definitely do understand it not being broadly appealing, but it annoys me that as a result of that, it isn't taken seriously, but like, or like it isn't as respected by mainstream filmmaking.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't necessarily respect mainstream filmmaking, so
Okay, yeah, same. Like I definitely have some major issues with like, you know, film as an establishment, but also like as much as I put it like this, like sometimes the, you know, Academy Award nominations for like best picture have really pissed me off, but also they don't give you that for nothing. I guess. I don't know.
This
Because
really
whenever
isn't like
anyone tries to shit talk Shape of Water in front of me, I remind them that it was Best Picture, and they don't just give that out for no reason. We can get into that. We can get into the Shape of Water at a later date.
but it's like it's all opinion.
It is all opinion. I don't know. That's just one of my favorite movies, and it gets shit talked a lot, and that's real one of the only legs I have to stand on.
I didn't care for it.
Okay.
I was bored. Yeah.
Okay. Rude.
But we've also established that you're like into monsters,
Okay, fine.
which I'm not.
Just expose me on the internet.
Hey, I didn't use the term that you use, okay? I was being delicate.
Okay, yeah, I kind of played myself there. Continue.
You know. Yeah. Continue on what? What are we doing? What's this?
Either your opinions on horror movies, your opinions on mainstream filmmaking, or the thing you were
Yeah.
about to say, either about, um, the fact that I sometimes find characters that are supernatural attractive, or pretty much anything else, I think.
Yeah, we're trying to trace our thread back a little bit.
Oh, I've
Um,
completely lost it, but that's fine.
yeah. I mean, I know we were on this question of how we feel about horror films, but
Yes.
yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, so it really just depends on the quality of the horror film. I don't seek them out just like I don't seek them out in the way like I just feel like watching a horror film.
yeah.
It's more like,
I have those
oh, I heard
moments.
good things. It's like I heard good things about this movie, and it happens to be a horror film, so I'm gonna watch it because I want to see what, why people are talking about it.
That's fair. I have my moments of like I'll watch like bad horror movies just like for funsies sometime, and I feel like that kind of applies to any genre. Sometimes you just watch a bad movie because it's fun. But I mean, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I just want to watch something that like, you know, it's just like it's a little creepy. Nothing that's gonna like, you know, really unsettle me. But I'm just in the mood for a little something a little spooky. So again, I freaking love horror movies so much. I think they're so awesome.
Definitely at this time of year, they do feel appropriate.
They feel
Probably
very appropriate. But again, in general, I love them. And apparently there's some kind of documented thing where like people with anxiety at like really like scary movies. Like not every single person obviously, but like it is a trend that has been observed. Cuz you know, if you're scared of everything all the time, why not direct it at something that makes sense?
That's fair.
So,
Well, there is research
have at it.
Yeah. No, seriously.
This
indicating.
is what you bring to the table.
I'm actually teaching a class on horror in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Um,
Sorry.
I mean,
I'm just gonna lose this. This thing keeps falling off, and otherwise I'm just wearing a smock. So by all
Okay.
means, I-
um, there's not really like one clear answer regarding why people enjoy horror films, but one of the largely hypothesized reasons would be that it's a way to like master your fear over threats. So like being exposed to these scary situations, like life-threatening situations, but in a safe kind of environment, and then also like feeling like you're overcoming them, um, by the people triumphing or something like that, or at least showing that you're not like freaking out, is a way for you to like master that sense of fear, and often can be like a little bit of a self-esteem boost.
I dig it. Also, Zach, now you're a soccer player.
I'm a soccer player.
Different
Boom!
costume.
2 costumes
Yeah.
in one. Continue.
Well, that was the basic idea. So I think that connects maybe to people with anxiety a little bit, right? Because having a sense of mastery over fear
It do make me
would be
feel
something
very
desirable.
nice.
Yeah, so that might be part of what it is. I mean, I could name like 6 different theories as to why people enjoy horror.
I love
More
it.
than that. But that's just one of them that I thought of when you said anxiety. I mean,
I
but
like it.
primarily it's a sensation seeking thing. Some people like strong emotional experiences and some people don't.
I do. As we established last episode. Do we have any favorite horror movies that we would like to share with the class, recommend to people?
Wait. Okay. Because I've only seen um I can count how many I've seen on one hand, but
That's
I've only
fine.
seen few. Can I, as a horror aficionado, can I hear your thoughts on these?
Yes.
I'm actually curious. Okay. Children of the Corn.
Classic.
It's cheesy as hell, but it
Yeah.
is a fun
Yeah.
time, and I
Mhm.
enjoy that it is very obvious that everyone who was in that movie was having a really good time being in that movie.
Okay. That's fair.
And like it's even if it's not like, not like giving me nightmares scary, like I had fun watching it.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Um, Cabin in the Woods.
I was about to say that's like
I
one of my
haven't
favorite
seen
movies of
Cabin
all
in the
time.
Woods.
I've seen a horror movie in the seen.
It is one of my favorite movies of all time. I was gonna mention that one.
That's so funny. That's like literally one of the two
Well,
or three
this
I've
is
seen.
gonna be a squad activity.
Well, I know it's he's kind of canceled now, but it is a Joss Whedon movie. And so, but it has he might be a terrible person, but he does good work. You can't
Yeah.
deny that.
Yeah.
Accurate.
And that movie is just amazing, and I won't tell you why, 'cause that would
I've
be a
heard
spoiler.
very, very good things, and
Yeah.
I know people say it's on my list a lot, but like I'm one of those people who has so many movies that I want to watch. It is actually genuinely written on a list on my phone. Like it's there.
Yeah.
That was going to be the first thing I said was Cabin in the Woods.
I like it. That is, I mean, based on what I've heard, the amount of people like having really good things to say about it, I want to say quality choice.
Okay. Um, I saw one Purge movie. I don't know where we kind of landed on that, like quasi
I
horror.
would say horror thriller, definitely
Okay.
some elements.
Okay. I saw one. It wasn't like the first one. I
Mm-hmm.
was, in general, the Purge movies made me sad because there was really the opportunity. I'm sure that Brooks, you've probably thought this too, but like there was such a great opportunity to explore just like the human condition. Like, hey, what would the world look like? Like that was like it could be a thought experiment, the whole
Yeah,
series. Like, what happens if we let people go crazy? And then it was just like cheap horror, and
yeah.
it's kind of sad they threw away a cool idea.
But I mean, again, sometimes that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I thought I saw one more, but maybe I didn't.
Fair enough. I'm like trying not to get like too, not
They made
necessarily obscure, but I'm
I
trying.
never watched it, but they did have a Purge TV show.
Did they?
Looks like
Interesting.
a couple seasons of it, so I'm wondering if they got more into it in the series. Because
Okay.
it had time
I
to
remember the
explore.
It's a
third
series.
That was a thing.
movie, I think, was like
Which one was that?
very explicitly like kind of politically themed, and that
Oh,
one
one.
was the most interesting to me conceptually because it felt the realist.
The one I watched was the election one. There was like somebody running who was like wanted to end the purge, and then they were trying to get her, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah, no, that one felt the most plausible concept-wise, so that was the one that interested me most, and if I do get around to watching any of the Purge movies, that's honestly going to be the one I go for.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hmm.
There's one more, and I know I'm gonna think of it as soon as we end the podcast, but you know.
I mean, I can list a couple, and if that,
Yeah.
and see if that like jogs your memory or like relates to anything. Okay,
But I can guess.
do you want to try?
Well, no, Midsummer's gonna be one.
Midsummer is up there. I do love that movie. I was gonna start with Eraserhead though,
Oh.
just because that movie is a beautiful surrealist nightmare. I love it so much because I could spend so much time just thinking about that movie and like why the things that were put on screen in the way that they are. Because I know like when you're shooting something, like a lot of stuff does kind of get made up as you go along. Like, you know, you're shooting and think, oh wait, what if we tried, you know, this angle over here and move this and that around. But even with that, so much of that movie ended up on screen on purpose. And the amount of time I could spend thinking about why is insane. And also, I love David Lynch's sort of style, regardless of whatever kind of deeper meaning one might attach to that film. Hello, little baby boy. Oh no. Bad luck.
Spooky Halloween cat. She's very scary.
Nix, are you ready for Halloween?
She might snuggle you to death. She's very scary.
Oh, dangerous.
She does try to suffocate me by walking on my chest and putting her face on my face. Yeah, I guess I didn't guess that one because I don't really think of it as being horror. I don't know what it's its own genre to me.
Yeah, Eraserhead is a genre, period.
Yeah.
What's the premise? I mean,
Scary dream logic,
Okay.
A guy has a baby.
and it's really fucked up.
It's like a tiny monster.
okay.
Just scary, surreal vibes, my dude.
That's the best I got. It defies description.
Yeah, it really does. There's a lot to unpack with that one.
Okay.
A lot of long silences.
I enjoyed the way that Marcus Parks described it. He was like, it literally is like a nightmare, just like played out on screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely feels like what you would dream.
Because so little of it makes any kind. Well, I mean, like there is a vague linear story you can follow, but like everything about it feels so, especially in the sort of second act, everything is so like disjointed and just unsettling. But again, love it, and also just the black and white cinematography, beautiful.
That's the genre, unsettling.
That is a good one. It is extremely, extremely unsettling. But again, one of my favorite movies. Does that mean there's something wrong with me? Quite possibly. But yeah, no, for like, because I really like the surrealist horror, so like Eraserhead's definitely top there. But for like things that just straight up, again, as a person who seeks out like sometimes extremely upsetting things to watch just because I like to make myself feel things, movie that just makes me feel bad but in a good way, Hereditary. That movie is so upsetting and it's absolutely excellent, and again, Toni Collette should have won Best Actress for that movie, but that's like another 30 minutes of me talking.
Gonna be the other one, I guess, for you. We watched both of those together, Midsummer and Hereditary.
Yeah, back to back. That was a lot.
Yeah, it was the same night. That's a lot.
And
I was
then
knitting your Heister.
For a horror movie that I get kind of like a little bit of genuine enjoyment out of, like actual like nice, Midsummer. And also I just love Midsummer because 90% of it takes place in like, brightly lit blue skies. It kind of dispels that feeling of like, oh, it's daytime so you're safe. So you just never feel like you can never let your guard down, which is super cool. And I do like a lot of the like horror classics, so like The Shining, Misery, those are great freaking movies, in my opinion.
Stephen King genre.
Yeah, I mean, good stuff. Or like, I mean, I guess you could argue this is kind of horror thriller, but like Silence of the Lambs, great movie. I'm a fan.
Yeah. I think where I would put that, genre-wise. I feel like I don't have like a favorite horror movie just because that's not a genre that I pay that much attention to have a favorite.
Fair
I
enough.
love Cabin in the Woods, but honestly, I put that put that more in the category of comedy.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny. It was kind of slapstick, like
Yeah.
slapstick horror.
I'm very interested to see this now.
Yeah, it's almost like a parody of horror films.
Yeah.
And it has with like a twist kind of.
Well, I I say yeah as if I've seen many horror films and know what to compare it to. But but that's why I was yeah.
It's got the tropes.
Yeah.
The trope characters and all that, yeah. Um so I don't really have a favorite, but for some reason when I think horror movies, for some reason nobody I talked to has ever seen this movie. It came out when I was in like high school. So like early 2000s. Called 13 Ghosts.
I have heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it might be one of those like kind of throwaway movies where like it comes out and there's all this hype and then people see it and they're like, and then everyone collectively forgets it.
It happens.
And I don't know what it is, but for some reason that movie creeped the hell out of me. And I still like cringe when I think about it, even though when I watched it later on, because I was like 15 when I first saw it. When I watched it later on as an adult, I was like, man, it almost seems like a little bit cheesy, but it still
I feel
creeps
like
me
a lot
out.
of people have that experience where they watch something that's like not even like not a particularly intense horror film, but it's like the first time you ever go like watch a scary movie on purpose when you're like 14 and it like makes a really lasting impression on you. Like the first time I ever watched a horror, like it was at my my childhood best friend who lives right across the street. Her parents were out to dinner, so we ordered pizza and we watched The Shining, and we were both like 13, 14, and like that is a great movie. But even but like now I don't find it like as like kind of like in your face scary as I do just like unsettling, creepy, like, everything's a little off, but like the way that movie has made such a lasting impression in my mind, will never forget that. Like, because that was the first time I like watched something scary like on purpose.
Yeah, I did see 13 Ghosts in theaters, and for some reason there were particular ghosts because there were 13 of them, obviously. But of the 13, there were a few that just like really got to me. Mm-hmm. Like there was this guy that was covered in railroad spikes sticking out of him, and I still think about that sometimes. Like
that's like some. I wonder if that was a reference to Phineas Gage.
I don't know. Phineas Gage had the metal pole through his head.
Yeah, it was a railroad spike that accidentally lobotomized him.
It was just the one. This guy was covered.
Yeah, I wonder if they were inspired.
Phineas Gage, it was a lead pipe. It wasn't a spike.
Oh, really?
It was just a tube.
Oh, wow. I learned about it in grade school, so I most certainly could be misremembering.
I read about Phineas Gage a lot. I find it fascinating, man.
Yeah, it is pretty whack.
Yeah. Yeah, so, there's a whole story behind the ghost and how we got like that and everything, but it came out around the same time as House on Haunted Hill, and that movie scared the living daylights out of me.
I think the first time I ever actually saw a horror movie in a theater was when I went to go see Hereditary, just because I'd never had friends who were really into horror movies, and when I found like one person who was willing to go with me, like the summer, when did that come out? It was like summer after my junior year of college or something. So I felt like the one person who'd be willing to go for me. I jumped right on that. And for anyone who's seen that movie, after it got out, I dropped her off and had to drive home by myself in the dark. And I didn't want to look in my rearview mirror.
Oh,
Oh,
I remember earlier in the movie.
Sips tea.
I made my sister watch Children of the Corn before she and my mom drove to Colorado through like 3 days worth of cornfields.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Kids staying up late and watching some of those like older Stephen King movies, like Children of the Corn being one of them, Pet Sematary, the original. I didn't watch the remake.
I did not watch the remake, although the original Pet Sematary, that is genuinely one of the scariest books I have ever read in my life. It is an excellent, excellent book.
Very unsettling. I think
The
I have
movie kind of annoyed me because the whole time I watched it, I was just sitting there thinking about other ways to like how I personally would have redone the scenes to like make them more effective. And I mean, like, that's incredibly arrogant sounding of me, because I know, like, I am by no means a professional filmmaker. It was just the opinions of one person who minored in film studies in college. But still, when I was watching it, I was like, I have some ideas that maybe possibly would have creeped people out a little bit more. I don't know. Ugh.
movies from, what, like the 80s?
Yeah, it's old. But also just,
yeah.
like, because the book, like... Because I thought the book was so awesome, like, I really wanted the movie to, like, mess me up.
Yeah.
But it didn't, and I was rather disappointed.
Yeah, it was like many kids, I was a major bookworm. Like, that was my whole life. Reading nonstop. Always had a book with me.
Yep.
Basically lived in the library in the summer.
Big mood.
So, like, extreme bookworm. But for a long time, all I read was, like, the classics. You know, I was reading, like, a lot of Mark Twain and Charles Dickens and stuff like that because I loved the show Wishbone.
Nice.
But then I discovered Stephen King when I was in middle school.
I love Stephen King.
Proceeded to read, like, every book he wrote up to that point.
Nice.
And people thought I was weird.
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole point of that story.
Actually, it's so funny. My mom, Sorry, Zach, you can go.
No. Go ahead, and then
Okay.
I'll go after.
So, yesterday when I was decorating out front for Halloween, we have this, like, little rubber skeleton. It's, like, yay big. And my mom told me that I, like, used to carry it around like a doll when I was a child and, like, put it in dresses. And just the more I look back on my childhood, I was like, I was always into, like, creepy stuff as a kid. Like, I was huge on, like, the Goosebumps and, like, all that stuff. I was like, I don't know why any of this, like, sometimes I'm like, man, sometimes I, like, wonder why I'm into this stuff. I'm like, I've always been like this. Like, whether or not it, like, actively registered in my brain that I've always been like this, I most certainly have been. Zach, go ahead.
All right, you mentioned Goosebumps, and I got excited because I was like, I know that one, and I read some of those growing up.
Love
no,
those. Good stuff.
yeah, no, it's so funny because there was like definitely a pattern to them where like the first chapter would end and it was like and then it was just like a false start or whatever.
Yep.
Like that's always how it started. I watched Get Out.
That is a
And
good movie.
looked it up, and it is horror/thriller, so I'm counting it.
Okay, yeah,
But
we will definitely count that.
But that's definitely one of those ones that I feel like was meant to be like more unsettling than like
Yeah.
jumps. Like that was like everything, like all the people, everyone's just a little bit off. Like that's the whole plot of the story. But it's been bothering me, and that's the one that I watched.
I did quite like Get Out. I also like the first It, like the new one, the one where they're all kids. I like that movie a lot. It's very good. Thank
I'll watch
you.
the second one.
Second one, worth watching because it concludes the story.
Yeah.
But I definitely like the first one better.
We watched the first one together.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We had a whole separate Halloween hangout. Love that. Yeah.
Was it intense Do you think they've made it intentional that the new It movie came out, was it 26 or 27 years after the first one?
I don't know if it was intentional, but
Because
nice.
it definitely was like it lined up. So
Yeah, no, it did line.
if
I don't know if I really don't think it was intentional, but it did line up
or not,
perfectly, which I was very
yeah,
much as a person who'd read the book, I was like,
yeah.
nice. So yeah. But aside from horror movies, what are some of our favorite like just general Halloween movies?
Hocus
I was
Pocus.
just gonna say that. Oh my god, I love Hocus Pocus.
Get
I'm
like
actually
switch
so
to
excited because I'm going to Salem with my mom on Friday, and there's some of the like houses in Salem where they filmed Hocus Pocus. I'm really excited to see
Oh,
that. But yeah, I love that movie so much. It just in all of its '90s glory. Also, Queen Bette Midler absolutely killing it.
man, it's so good.
What a legend.
Yeah, it's not Halloween until you've watched Hocus Pocus.
Correct. Which I will be doing very, very soon.
No, I've already watched it this year.
Hell
Actually,
yeah.
one time fully through, and then a couple minutes here and there
Oh my, I
because I still.
remember when we were watching it together, you literally knew every single line verbatim.
We watched that one.
We watched a lot of Halloween movies that weekend. Like that was the express point of us hanging out.
Yeah, we made it through a lot, I guess. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's so
And I,
quotable too,
yeah. Sorry, now I'm thinking about the movie.
as you
Um,
should be.
I always watch the Casper movie with Christina
Nice.
Ricci,
I don't
also
think
from
I've
the
ever
90s.
actually seen that one, like the whole way through. I've seen bits and pieces.
It's a lovely film, very classic.
I
It's
dig
got
it.
Eric Idle in it.
Well, maybe I will
Yeah,
be seeking that out this week.
yeah. I mean, he's not like one of the biggest roles. He's more of a side role, but I mean, he's in
He's
it throughout the
there.
movie. Yeah, and once you get a Python in there, it's like it's done deal.
Yeah, pretty much.
I will watch it, don't care what it is.
I love Corpse Bride, Nightmare Before Christmas. The Nightmare Before Christmas is particularly excellent because you can start watching it like midway through September and then not stop until December 25th.
It's both Halloween and Christmas.
I know. There's a lot rolled into one. You get a lot of mileage out of one movie. And it's an excellent movie, so like definitely not mad. But I do love Corpse Bride. That's a good one.
There's another one that I watched, and I can't think of what it is at the moment.
Oh, we watched this and it was more of a like nostalgia trip for me than it was for you because this was a childhood
Yeah,
favorite of mine. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. I love this movie so much. And it's like some cheesy ass direct to VHS Scooby-Doo movie from like 1999 or whatever. But my sister and I have watched that without fail every single year for at least like 15 years running. And also Tim Curry does some phenomenal voice acting in that movie, and he like plays like his character is like an off-brand Stephen King. It's fantastic. Like it's so like cheesy and corny and like cartoony because it is a freaking cartoon. But I watch it every year and I have so much fun with it. So
I feel like Tim Curry is one of those actors where, oh, Tim Curry is in it? Well, I'm just gonna watch it. You don't have to tell me what it is. I'm just gonna watch it.
yep,
Doesn't matter. It's gonna be good. It's got Tim Curry.
yep.
Ghostbusters.
Which is another
Yep.
reason you should watch Over the Garden Wall. Tim Curry does voice acting in one of the episodes.
I put it on my list.
I know
Mine's
you
not a
did.
physical list. It's on my phone, but it's on there.
The fact that I got you to consider some animation, I'll
I
take
mean, I
it.
watch animation, just not. I watch my own types of animation.
Valid. I do enjoy Ghostbusters, although I can't remember. I haven't like actually sat down and watched that movie in like a hot minute.
I saw it once when I was a kid, but this is probably the most I can contribute to this conversation. So
Fair enough.
Ghostbusters, I've seen it so many times. Every time I watch it now, I just say the lines along with them. Only when I'm by myself because I don't want to annoy other people, but I just say every line as I say it. My brother, who's a year older than I am, was like really into Ghostbusters because we were kind of peak age, like really little. Well, the first one came out in '84. That was the year he was born. But he had like the full on original like proton pack and the little ghost catcher. And
So,
he
like,
always
at
told
the
my
time the sequels were coming out, y'all were prime age for the Ghostbusters craze.
yeah. He
Nice.
used to tell my mom that when he grew up, he was going to be a real Ghostbuster.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I mean, because he was, I think, like 5 when the second one came out. Because I think it was like '89 or something like that.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that.
Yeah.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
Goonies isn't quite a Halloween movie, but it does feel right to watch it around Halloween.
It's another one I quote verbatim.
It's just a vibe, you know? And I'm like
Yeah,
searching
probably.
my shelf here for
Yeah.
more
I feel like there's a
Halloween
lot of
stuff.
those kind of movies that aren't necessarily like Halloween specific, but just
Like, I feel like the entirety of Stranger Things, like, even though some of the episodes like take place like on Christmas, I think like the Halloween vibes just through the roof.
I was thinking about like What We Do in the Shadows
I rewatched that the other night, and that's
versus
actually referenced in the next question.
yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. Definitely on the list
I
of movies of all time. I love
love
Taika Waititi
I
so much.
love that movie so much. Taika Waititi is my favorite part about that movie, closely followed by Jermaine Clement. I love him. I love everyone in that movie. What am I talking about?
Yeah,
He's that movie's so much. That's another group activity we're gonna have to do, regardless of whether or not it's Halloween. We gotta watch Cabin in the Woods, and we gotta watch What We Do in the Shadows.
yeah. And the TV series, it's into season 3 now, and it's like one of the best TV shows, and practically nobody has ever heard of it, which I don't understand.
I will get. I'm that's one of the ones I'm planning to get on ASAP.
Good.
I will get there. I just gotta finish my rewatch of the third season of Twin Peaks first.
Taika Waititi does pop up a few times in the series, kind of here and there. Jimmy and Clement,
Wonderful.
he's in a couple episodes too. So there's a bunch of cameos.
Good. I will take it. But speaking of vampires, why do people act like Twilight invented the concept of the sexy vampire?
I think it is because, you know, when the book came out, it got so popular with a particular segment of like preteen and teen girls, and they didn't know anything about vampires that came before. Like, they never watched Interview with a Vampire or,
And like
Yeah.
as much as Twilight is an incredibly problematic like depiction of like romance, I'm not here to shame teenage girls for,
Yeah.
you know, enjoying like, you know, for latching onto Twilight as a piece of media. Like I was one of them. And
Yeah.
honestly, I am kind of having fun with the whole like Twilight Renaissance where everyone acknowledges that there's so many problems with it, but also let's rewatch the movies for nostalgia. So
Yeah.
like
I mean, books over there.
completely fine by me, not here to shame anyone for liking Twilight. I just personally think like, and this is kind of I'm kind of just mashing the question like the first and second parts of this question into one now. Like I think the like kind of like the classic vampire is just a much like cooler concept, I think. Like I don't know why so much of it had to change. Like it's already like kind of hot.
Are
In
you
my
talking
opinion.
like the Dracula, Transylvanian kind of stereotypical old timey?
Yeah, like forever young guy lives in a castle and like has a bunch of money and bites people on the neck and dresses really nice. I'm like kind of here for it. I think that's a lot more fun than the ooh sparkly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the side of What We Do in the Shadows vampires.
Except like that's literally one of the examples I give. Like the that's like the most recent media I can think of featuring like a classic
Yeah,
vampire. And I think like that's like the whole question like Twilight vampires versus like the classic vampires who's like who is actually cooler slash sexier slash scarier. Classic vampires all the way.
what's the how did you describe What We Do in the Shadows?
Was it that tweet I sent you?
I think so.
Oh,
just
it
can't
was
really.
like what we do in the shadows, like change the face of the vampire genre by asking one question: what if they were fucking stupid? Because it's true.
It's just vampire roommates.
Yeah,
What are
like
they?
it's every single like scary thing about classic vampire, like the classic notion of the vampire, like them like murdering people and doing all this like kind of like pretty terrifying stuff, but also they are idiots who fight over doing the dishes, and I
Uh-huh.
think that's so funny.
Yeah, they're idiots. But it definitely fits into that classic conception.
Which I
Um,
really like because of the like it takes the entire like classic idea and takes away the one part where they're very like kind of like suave and dignified, but keeps everything else, and it just makes it so fun. Again, I adore that movie with all of my being, and I am very excited to actually start watching the show sometime in the very near future.
God.
It's
I'm
gonna
all caught up, and I hate watching week to week because then I have to wait.
yeah, no, it is frustrating.
They had in the most recent episode, it started with one of the vampires having a Zoom call with Scott Bakula because he got confused. Thought he was a vampire because Bakula Dracula.
I like it.
Scott Bakula, he's an actor. He
Incredible.
was a captain on Star Trek Enterprise. Also Quantum Leap.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love What We Do in the Shadows. I love that movie so much. Literally my favorite. My favorite thing in that movie is when the one guy's like setting up the Facebook and he's like, or we could poke her, and then the camera just slowly zooms in on Vladislav.
Oh, man,
And it
that's a
just
good movie.
absolutely kills me. I love that movie so much.
Yeah. No, definitely one of my favorites.
One
Yeah,
time
and
I
so it
showed my
doesn't.
sister that movie and she had the audacity to not like it.
Your sister's taste is questionable. We've established this. Sorry, Claire. I don't know if she watches this, but
Oh my god, are
hopefully
you
she
kidding
does.
me? Of course she doesn't.
Yeah, or listens to it. Or
She's my
whatever. Yeah,
sister. Why would she want to listen to slash watch me talk any more than she absolutely has to?
that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, no, the sort of the classic Dracula Interview with the Vampire, What We Do in the Shadows, they win in pretty much every category for me.
Yep. Yep. It checks the boxes, I think, because you get the classic elements, but then you also get the comedy and sort of the unique angle on things.
Yeah,
Um, Taika Waititi is a treasure,
love him, love that man.
and I would like him to continue producing movies to infinity.
Correct. Jojo Rabbit, such a good movie. You know it's good when you laugh hysterically and like actually start sobbing within the span of
Yeah.
like the same hour.
Yep.
Beautiful. We love to see it.
Yeah, so not really a Halloween movie necessarily, but I haven't watched it. We watched it together. Was the last time I watched it.
Oh
How
my god,
many movies did we
yeah.
watch?
Zach, I feel like we're really shutting you out of this conversation. I'm sorry.
No, I feel like I am to this episode what Brooks was to the Beatles episode. Like,
We're all just rotating off of being like support cast member.
yeah.
Yeah, so the next episode, Zach and I are going to talk about running.
Okay.
Yes, we absolutely are.
I will make the occasional comment because cycling is also cardio that involves your legs.
That is true.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, it's probably better for you than running anyways, because you don't blow out your knees. Yeah. So,
Fair enough.
Every time I have to take a break from running because I'm injured, I use my bike.
yeah.
We stand. What's everyone's favorite Halloween candy?
Ooh, I can participate in this one. Okay. But
Cool.
no, go ahead.
Have at it.
Kind of
Oh,
make noise with the plastic.
Either one of you.
no, by all means, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm just eating candy.
I'm trying to think of candy.
I
don't really eat
love
that.
some freaking Reese's. I love the peanut butter cup.
Ooh, I can kind of relate to that because there's this like chocolate company called Justin's, and they make like a vegan peanut butter cup that is very good.
Yeah, they have those at Starbucks
So
sometimes.
yes, yes. So yes, I do love a good peanut butter cup. Not the one you get on Halloween, but it tastes pretty much the same.
Yes, no, I absolutely love a good peanut butter cup. Delicious.
I almost
I
feel
love
like
Snickers.
oh yeah,
Oh no, I was just talking about Snickers. Like those were kind of.
Good stuff.
that made me laugh. I feel like it's just a question of like, what's your favorite candy? Because like they're not Halloween specific.
This
Like
is
I was
true.
trying to think of one, like because I know at Easter, for example, like Cadbury eggs
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mhm.
Reese's peanut butter egg, like those are Easter specific candies.
They have the
I couldn't think
pumpkin
of Halloween,
shaped peanut butter cups.
and yet they're not the same as the egg ones.
No, they're not.
They don't
But,
taste the same.
but there's definitely, I don't know, there's definitely some like I like Sour Patch Kids,
Ooh, I love a good
but
Sour Patch
I
Kid.
don't think of, but I don't think of them as like Halloween candy because like
Mhm.
they aren't easily like
I mean, this is
compartmentalized.
essentially like what candy were you most excited to find in your trick or treat bag? Because like,
Anything, I don't know, Twix bars, Milky
oh, I
Way.
love Twix.
Yep.
Because like, it's
Yeah.
all just like any candy you can get at like a grocery store checkout line, just small. So
Mhm.
yeah,
There's
no,
always
oh
that
my
one.
god, I love a Twix.
Twix, yeah. I
My
also enjoy
sister,
an
my
egg.
sister was big into the Kit Kat bars. She was out like that, like you know when you would like sit in the circle with all your friends and like trade candy. Anytime someone was trying to get rid of a Kit Kat, she would like give it to me. I
I
do
like
love a
when
Kit Kat.
I always ate the chocolate from around them and then ate the wafers in layers.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I have never tried that, and I don't think I would have the patience for it.
No, I kind of still do it. You know, weird habits that carry through.
Oh, when I was a kid, I was always excited to get any form of like bubble gum.
Hmm.
I was never a bubblegum person.
Yeah.
Ooh, I was very much here for like the just like the like pink sugary crap as a child. Loved it.
Yeah, it was all chocolate.
I think that lollipops are an underrated candy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They definitely like they last a while.
Yeah, they do
They're
come in
also very
clutch.
versatile in what they can be. It's
I love the Tootsie Pop.
Okay,
yeah,
unpopular opinion,
yeah.
I love the chocolate Tootsie Pop so much.
Mm, I
The
bet
Tootsie
there's other
Pop,
ones.
I love
I
it.
feel like unless the lollipop is like root beer, and even that's kind of pushing it, it's got to be fruit.
Like, and that's the only time I will have anything that like any kind of lollipop that isn't like a fruit flavor is the chocolate flavored
Yeah.
Tootsie Pop. That is the only instance, but God, do I love them.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I learned later in life that that was an unpopular opinion, and I was just like, what?
Man, I do miss that feeling though. Like as a kid when you would come back from trick or treating and you just have
Oh
your
my
haul and then you get
God.
to sit down and dump it on the ground or on a table or something and then just take stock of
The
your spoil.
money I would pay to experience that kind of happiness again.
I mean, I don't know about you, but my parents always insisted on looking through it before I could eat any, you know, checking it to make sure it was safe. I was a kid in
Oh,
the
my
80s,
parents.
We
the
weren't
razor blade.
quite that paranoid, but also I grew up in suburbia essentially.
Well, there was a big scare like when I was a kid with like finding razor blades and stuff and candy.
Yeah.
I know that's a thing that's kind of been around for a while, but there was a particular like instances.
I love how
I just
every year they're like, "Oh, people are giving away like people are like edibles that are candy." I'm like, "No one.
always giving away
No
drugs.
one is doing
Who's gonna
that.
spend that kind of money?
Drugs are expensive.
Nobody is
Nobody's
doing
giving them
that. It is
And what was the
just
point?
it is just like they are just looking to manufacture a moral panic.
Yeah.
No one is doing that.
Yeah. The fun of dumping out your candy and then negotiating with a sibling.
Yeah.
Yep, or like the group of friends that you
Those
went
are
trick or
power
treating
plays.
with. Oh my god, you know what else slapped? When you were like in grade school and you got to dress up at school.
Yeah.
God, that was the best. As Darth Vader for
I,
Halloween in third grade, and I had the time of my life.
my mom made me this Invisible Man costume that was literally a series of like pipes jerry rigged to hold a trench coat over my head. And then it had like a hat. I'll have to find pictures. They're somewhere, but like, and
That's
then like a
amazing.
yeah. Um, yeah, it was very cool. I took it to school and I did need help because I could not see like a damn thing out of that.
Worth it.
But yeah, so like literally like one like the teacher's aide was like making sure I didn't like go tumbling down the stairs, but other than that, it was
God,
very cool.
that's awesome. Like that's like cosplay level
Yeah.
type shit there. Like I could see someone walking around like New York City Comic Con in like an adult size version of that. That's pretty baller.
Oh, I was also by far the tallest like fifth grader there because this thing was, you know,
Yeah, that'll
like
do it.
2 feet. Yeah.
That will do.
Not
Oh,
Halloween.
also, Zach, my United States House of Representatives cup has become my default desk water cup.
I love that.
So she's getting use.
Good.
Okay. Do we have anything else to say about Halloween candy and slash or the amazing experience of Halloween as a child that I would honestly give anything to experience one more time?
Adult Halloween just doesn't measure up.
I
Like,
do like college Halloween was kind of fun.
The only plus side about Halloween compared to Halloween, like with college, is you get to add alcohol.
yeah. But
Also,
then,
12.
the most memorable time I went out on Halloween in college, I was dressed as Post Malone, and we went to a bunch of the frats. And every time a Post Malone song would come on, everyone would just be like, "Hey, it's Posty," and I was just like, "Yeah." So I enjoyed
yeah,
myself there.
I feel like college is the exception to the rule because that's when you live in very close proximity to a large number of your peers that you
Yeah,
know. Beyond that, no. Like I go to Halloween parties here and there and it's just like all people in their 30s sipping scotch and just being lame. And I'm like, man, I hope these people have a cat so I can have something to do.
So it's
That's
I
relatable. Way too relatable.
how
that's true
like
story. Last
whenever I
Halloween
like actually like permanently live in a neighborhood, I am gonna be the house that throws the massive Halloween party that like invites the entire block, and you have to come in costumes. And there'll be like themed cocktails and crazy decorations. Because if we haven't established this already, which we most certainly have, Halloween is my favorite holiday, and I intend to go all out for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Eh. Like I just reached a point where I'm just like, I'm just tired. I've had a decent number of Halloweens. I've been to different parties. I've done the drinking thing, worn a bunch of different costumes. I'm just kind of,
I feel like part of it has to do with the fact that I'm also like a cosplay person,
yeah.
because I get a lot of satisfaction out of like, for example, this. Like I get a lot of satisfaction of like putting together costumes and like and trying to make it like, screen accurate and getting the makeup right, and I find it very satisfying when I put a lot of effort, if it's for Halloween or if it's for a convention, like when I like put a lot of time and effort and money sometimes into like making a really good costume, and then people are like, yeah, that's awesome, or like, can I take a picture with you? I'm like, God, yes, validate me. So, as a person who gets a lot of satisfaction out of putting costumes together, I love Halloween.
Yeah. Like I said, I spent the last Halloween party I went to, I spent the whole time with the cat sleeping in my lap.
That's delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seemed to know. Like I just sat down and the cat was like, "Oh, good, a person that likes cats," and just came over and curled up and went to sleep.
They can
That's always
always tell cat people,
right.
and they can always tell not cat people.
Yeah.
Because then they go up to the not cat person and they're like, just like in their face.
The void slumbers.
Oh, the void. Love her. Can't wait to see her again.
She's so cute. I can't stand it.
I can't wait to see her again so I can finally, like, actually earn her trust.
Oh yeah, she's scared of everything.
Please
Just
love me.
everything.
Oh, Zach, you haven't heard this story, but this is kind of funny. Her cat,
Yeah.
Nick's back there, the black cat, little scaredy baby. Not, you know, wasn't crazy about me being in her house. Um, but then I woke and like kind of like wouldn't really come all that close to me. But I was sleeping on the couch and I woke up and her just like entire face was in my ear. Just I was like, okay, you won't come near me during the day, but you will violate me like that at 3 a.m.
She gets like really up in your business, and by you I mean me, I guess, because it's really just me that she does it to. But like,
I mean,
she
it has happened to me. I do know.
She doesn't understand personal space. She doesn't have any boundaries.
Nope.
We've been working on it. It's not helping.
I mean, don't work on it. Who cares?
Well, I've tried to explain to her she can't lay on my face. Like,
okay, yeah, that is a bit much. You do need to breathe.
Yeah. That's
the void awakens.
She is the ancient Greek goddess of night.
Oh, love her. So we have our final question for our wonderful Halloween episode. How do we feel about the fact that we've never actually heard the Monster Mash? We've just heard a song describing what happens when a bunch of creatures hear the Monster Mash.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I've thought about.
What is the Monster Mash? I would like to know.
Yeah, because it makes me think of, like, Time Warp. They tell you how to do the dance.
They do.
And that's the fun of it, right? So it's super easy. It's just a jump to the left.
And then a step to the right. That's another Halloween movie. That's not necessarily Halloween. Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's not... We definitely did. It is not explicitly a Halloween movie, but God, the Halloween vibes are immaculate.
Yeah, it's on Hulu right now, and it keeps popping up on the main page, and I keep meaning to watch it.
They're doing Rocky Horror at a local theater on like the 25th or something, and I will most certainly be going. I'm very excited.
You have to start a new list of things that we all have to watch together.
Yeah. I know we have to go to one together.
To Rocky Horror?
Yeah, and we're all dressing up. That's non-negotiable.
It's so much work.
You can be as covered as you like, but you are wearing a costume.
You make my costume and I'll wear it.
Done.
Work it. Yeah. It's the work that I don't want to do. I don't care about wearing stuff. Because I'm going to be Janet, right? Yeah.
I will find a pink dress for you.
Yeah, my hair's not the right color, but I'm not wearing a wig, so.
You just need clips, it's fine. I will literally put in all the effort just to get a cool, like, group costume photo. Am I a little insane? Yes.
Have you ever seen Rocky Horror, Zach?
Nah, we were going to, and we had
And then the GPS took us an hour and a half in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, it was not ideal.
Very close. No, I remember hearing about it a few years ago at college. Keep meaning to watch it. I don't know much about it, but...
Don't watch it. You have to experience it.
Yeah,
Don't just watch it on your own time.
Yeah, you definitely miss something if you don't see it in a theater with a shadow cast.
Once you see it, though, then watch it, because then you'll hear all the jokes that you missed while people were screaming.
That's true.
Interesting.
Well, I assume you have explained what the showings are like, or were you going to leave it a surprise?
Did we ever discuss that? Oh,
no.
There's a lot of people dressed up. There's a lot of people throwing things. There's a lot of people screaming. It's an absolutely immaculate time.
Okay. Interesting.
It's usually a shadow cast.
Yeah, so there's people like acting out the movie on a stage as the movie is like playing up on screen. It's delightful.
We go out in the audience. I had this gigantic dude who was playing Frank come and like lay across my lap one time. Yeah, it was very unnerving because he was very large. Like just
How
like,
many,
you know, with his built like a he's just built like a giant.
how many people does it take to reenact it at a minimum?
Maybe like seven,
8.
7 or 8,
Okay.
yeah. And
Okay.
then I mean you can have supporting cast ensemble.
Yeah.
I would say 8 minimum.
Yeah, that
Okay.
seems fair.
I get an idea of what this would be like.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and
wonderful.
it's just one of those things where when it originally came out, like it was a flop. Like
Hmm.
it did not do well, but they noticed that there was a dedicated fan base that kept coming back to see it like week after week.
It's a cult film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Also
So we
holds the
actually,
record for longest theatrical run of any movie because it has been playing in theaters nonstop since the 70s.
yeah, I actually use that as an example of a cult following in classes. Because as it's been shown over the years, like this whole culture has built up around it in terms of like what you shout at the screen and when and what you throw. And um, I know the showings that I go to sell like prop bags for like $1 or $2
Yep.
for the things that you throw at the screen.
Hmm.
So you don't have to bring your own. You can bring your own throw-in supplies, but
And actually, one of the places that I went to like had something specific to just that location. I don't know if they do it anymore because the theater changed ownership. Not relevant, but it was a local theater called the Madison, and there's that bit in
Oh
the
yeah.
movie
Yeah.
where he's like, "Say, any of you guys know how to Madison?" So he'd always be like, "We're the Madison." I was like, "Nice,
Okay, now we're just thinking about Madison Ave.
good stuff."
Very happy. St. Rose. Anyways,
yeah.
that's the part that I could relate to was the theater. Not really
We
the
dig it.
film
Yeah,
I was.
no, we all have to watch What We Do in the Shadows and Cabin in the Woods, and we all have to go to an actual showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show together.
I haven't
Non-negotiable.
It's a pandemic. I haven't been in like a couple years.
I went to one sometime over the summer, and like you had to have like proof of vaccination and everything, so like good safety practices in place, and it was delightful. And I think actually, Zach, you'll know that it was the Palace Theater in Albany, and it was
Yeah,
like their
yeah.
like official reopening after like a year or something. The first thing that they had back in that theater was the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was just like nice.
The theater I used to go to closed during the pandemic, like permanently
Oh
closed, which is
no!
unfortunate. It's like the longest running theater in the area. I forget how long. It's like really old.
That
And it was like
sucks.
run down. Like there were all these like roped off seats that were broken that they never bothered to fix. They had 4 theater cats that were just roaming around. One of them had one eye.
Oh my god, yes.
Like,
You know
yeah,
what
it was a
bothered me?
very special place.
Why did they never do the Rocky Horror Picture Show at the Riviera in Geneseo?
I don't know.
That really would have been such a great venue for it.
Yeah.
There was this little independent theater in the town where I went to college, right on Main Street, and it had like the perfect kind of like, because they had like local music play there sometimes, so it had the perfect kind of like stage that had a big screen right behind it for exactly that kind of event. I don't know why they never did it. And there was like a revolving door of college kids who most certainly would have been like into that.
Yeah. Although a good shadow cast is rare. Like I know around here they often have to get one down from Buffalo or something. There's one local group, but
There's a local one here, and they're pretty good. I'm a fan.
yeah. But the time warp, just how we got on this, right? That's a song where it's about a dance, but they tell you how to do the dance in the song, kind of like the Cha Cha Slide, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but with the Monster Mash, it's like yeah, it's all description, but they don't tell you what to do.
I
I
want to know
actually
what it
pulled up the lyrics,
is.
scrutinizing them just in case I missed something.
Yeah, I want to know what it is. One, I want to know what we do, and two, I want to know what the song is. Because all
Yeah,
they're describing is what happens when the song plays.
I assume it involves the mashed potato.
Oh,
That's an old timey.
perhaps, or the kind of the Charleston moves.
Hmm.
One of few
Although
dances I can actually do. I do know how to Charleston.
in my intense studying of the lyrics earlier, I noticed another thing that was troubling to me
Do tell.
because there's a line about Dracula that I'll just read the relevant bit. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?" So there's another dance
There's too many
mentioned
dances that we don't know, and songs that
that
we
we
aren't
don't
hearing
either.
described within one song. I don't like it.
So now we don't know the Monster Mash, and we don't know the Transylvania twist.
I mean, I'm not gonna say the song Monster Mash that we have, like, it does bop. Like, I hear that at a Halloween party. I'm definitely gonna, shimmy a little bit, but, like, I wanna know. I wanna know what's going on within the song. I feel like things are being kept from us, and I don't love it.
You could make one.
I could, but I have no songwriting skill whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I also can't really play an instrument as much as I try.
I can sort of play that guitar. If you want to set the tune of the song to any handful of Black Sabbath songs, then we're good.
That might be a copyright thing, but
It's fine. We're too small for them to care about copyright.
Yeah.
just thought of a movie I forgot to mention earlier. Young Frankenstein.
Oh, yes. Oh my god, I love Young Frankenstein. That's such a great movie.
I have the lyrics up over here, and it has Igor in it, or Igor in it.
Igor.
And so I was thinking of that's a good one to watch this time of year.
That's a great. That will also be featured in my Halloween movie binge.
Yeah, Mel Brooks is always appropriate, but that movie at this time of year just has the right vibe.
Oh, I love that movie. Also, you know about this. The amount of times that I've tried to reference that movie in conversation. Whenever someone says "could be worse," I always think of the scene where they're digging the grave, and he's like, "Oh, what a disgusting job," and Igor goes, "Could be worse. Could be raining," and then immediate thunderclap downpour. And every time someone says "could be worse," I always say "could be raining," and no one knows what I'm talking about.
I feel like that happens to me a lot, where I just offhandedly quote things, and people have learned to just not like
You
acknowledge
used to
it.
say "most excellent" in class all the time, and I think I was one of the only people that ever noticed it. Like, I'm sure other people had seen that movie, but they just like weren't paying attention.
Yeah, I say it. I still say excellent all the time.
As
Yeah,
you should. I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Great movie.
But like with like Young Frankenstein, for example, if somebody asks about like where'd that thing go, sometimes I'll say what hump, and they don't know why I'm saying that. And they just learn. Like, people learn to ignore me because I'm randomly quoting things all the time, and they don't like.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I always say "could be
Don't
raining,"
bother. Yeah.
and
I've heard it
I
many
don't think
times.
anyone has ever gotten it. I mean, you have, but I think I had to point it out. You
Maybe
get
I
it
wasn't-
now, which it's greatly appreciated.
I love Mel Brooks.
Yeah. What a king.
I don't know. There are a few movies I've seen more than Spaceballs.
Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
like make a concentrated effort to actually like sit down and watch every Mel Brooks movie, because the ones I've seen have been absolute delights, but I haven't like sat down and checked everything off of a list yet.
Although I can't find History of the World Part 1 anywhere.
Interesting. I love The Producers, because it's a hilarious movie, and they also made it into a fantastic Broadway musical.
Yes, with
Which
what's
is
his
like,
face? Nathan Lane?
Nathan Lane and
Matthew
Matthew Broderick. But that's like one of the most appropriate movies I could possibly think to turn into a musical. Because, like, the whole concept, just like, obviously.
I feel like this has devolved into Sarah and Bridget talk about movies they enjoy.
Yeah, sorry, Zach.
I'm always happy to listen. No, this is just giving me ideas. This is
We
good.
love to
So easy
see
to
it.
get caught up. Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in stuff. It's you know that feeling where you're like caught up in something and you know you should stop yourself, but it's like you
But
can't.
then you don't.
No.
Yeah, and it's like I know I should stop talking about this, but you know,
But I have
And
one
it's
more
like-
point, and then the one more point
Yeah.
always turns into one more point.
Yeah.
But that
it's
is
like
that is the end of our questions for our funky fresh spooky season episode. Any fun concluding thoughts that we'd like to share about just more cats?
my cat transformed.
Magic.
My magical black cat is now a Torby.
Halloween cat magic. We love to see it. Yeah, you have like a permanent living Halloween decoration in your house.
Oh, we have a black cat back at home who I missed dearly.
I love black cats. I want a black cat. and not just for Halloween reasons. I just like black cats.
Very sweet.
I feel like, except for Luna here, my pets are very Halloween themed because I have a black cat and an orange snake.
Oh my
So the two of them
god!
combined, yeah, yeah,
That's
and
very relevant.
they're inseparable. By which I mean I can't keep Nyx away from Harley, but
She just wants to watch. I guess having a snake is a pretty Halloween type pet. If it's warm enough on Halloween, I might bring her out for a little while, so that, like, the trick or treaters can see her and stuff. I feel like that would also go kind of decently with the costume. Vague sandworm vibes, even though she's not striped.
you better hope you don't run into, for lack of a better term, a Karen.
I mean,
That's
I'm on my property.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just see that as being some kind of thing of like some parent freaking out because of the prejudice against snakes, you know?
Yeah, this is true. Which, you know, is some BS.
Yeah.
But
Makes me so
anyway,
mad.
yeah. Spooky season. This was delightful. Thank you guys for dressing up. I appreciate you attempting to share my enthusiasm, because I know I go way overboard for Halloween.
Efforts were made. This is one of like 3 costumes I own,
The
so
fact that efforts were made at all makes me very happy. So thank you guys. This was absolutely delightful, and I
And-
hope
yeah.
that when this comes out, which will be right before Halloween, everyone enjoys it and also has a great time on the actual holiday. And thing I should announce now, we are skipping the not the next stream. So we're going to be talking about episode 2 on stream, and then we're going to take a week off because Halloween is Sunday, and I assume people will be doing things, not just us, but people who might otherwise be watching us at that time. So we'll be off for Halloween, and then the week after that, the Sunday after Halloween, we will resume with episode 3 of Squid Game. So,
Good.
putting that out there,
Yeah.
and also update that on our Twitch stream schedule, and probably give a little Twitter update on the actual day, just to keep things straight. But I think that's all of our kind of announcement type things. And also next episode, we're gonna have a guest for y'all at long last, which should be very fun because it's been a red hot minute since we brought on someone who's not an official host.
yeah.
So, things to look forward to. All right, we will see y'all next week. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Halloween.
This week's episode of the Fighting with Friends podcast was hosted by Bridget Kelly, Zach Calderon, and Dr. Sarah Brooks. You can find other episodes of the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or your other favorite listening platform. Follow us on Twitter at BridgetKelly98, at Zach Calderon, and at @AndSarahSaid. Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice. Like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, and join our Discord community using the links in the description. You can also help support us via the Acast supporter feature, or consider donating to our Patreon. Thanks for listening!